afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Kizzy Show. I'm JD Kizziah, and we talk about what you want to hear. Hope you all had a great spring break week. If you had the same spring break schedule as the University of Alabama, I know I had a great spring break, but man, we kind of picked a bad week to have a spring break because there was a lot of crapola going on, especially in the sports world, and especially in the world of basketball. We had the men's and women's NCAA tournaments kick off this past week. And we're going to talk about the men's because, quite frankly, nobody's watching the women's, to be fair. We may talk about the women's a little bit on Friday's episode, so tune back in for that. Especially because we had some big breaking news in the Alabama Crimson Tide women's basketball program. The head coach is leaving to go to South Florida, but more on that tomorrow or Friday, because I don't know if this episode will release on Wednesday or Thursday. So stay tuned. Maybe you should like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Whoa! No way. And while you're at it, maybe you should go follow us on TikTok. Like, whoa, no way. What? All right. Let's talk some March Madness. I'm just going to kind of hit the highlights so far of the first two rounds, and because we got the Sweet 16 coming up, but man, a lot of stuff happened in those first two rounds. Let's start with one team, a blue blood of the NCAA basketball world, but man, the only thing blue right now is those tears rolling down their cheeks. Aha! Talking about the University of North Carolina, UNC. Another early exit for the Tar Heels, lost 82-78 to VCU. Now, I get it. Their star player, Cale Wilson, was out for the season, but still, not what Tar Heel fans were looking for. And also, they just fired their head coach. Hubert Davis is gonzo as of Tuesday night. So, rest in peace to him, for real. I mean, he's not dead, hopefully, but he's gone. Was that too quick? Or was that a well-deserved, well-timed firing by the Tar Heels? Well, I'm not an expert on Tar Heel basketball, so I really don't know. Which is why I talked to quite a plethora of North Carolina fans before we filmed this. And they said, yeah, that timing of the firing was really good. They said how Hubert Davis inherited such a great program from the great Roy Williams. And quite frankly, his best season was with Roy's players. And he just couldn't keep the standard going. And quite frankly, his results on the court would agree with the opinion of the Tar Heels fans. So, comment below. Did Hubert Davis get fired too quick? Or do you agree with the Tar Heel faithful that his timing was well-deserved? Some coaching candidates, because a team needs a head coach. And especially at a big-time school like North Carolina. Like, when you think basketball schools, North Carolina is probably one of, if not the very first school you think of. Like, close your eyes right now. I'm going to say basketball school. Blur out the first school you think of. All right, some of y'all probably said Duke. Absolutely. Some of y'all probably said Kansas. For sure. If you're down here in SEC country, maybe you say Kentucky. But I guarantee you, a lot of y'all said North Carolina. That's because they are a premier basketball school. Always have been, and probably always will be. So, who are some of the coaching candidates to succeed Coach Davis? Well, there's some pretty high-quality names here. Billy Donovan is a name that's been floating around. All these names I'm about to read off, by the way, are just what other people are saying. I'm just reporting what other people are saying. So, if you don't like these names, if you don't agree with them, don't shoot the messenger. That's all I'm saying. Billy Donovan, he's currently coaching the Chicago Bulls. I was reading something today that I think it's only like 3 or 4 coaches that have ever won back-to-back national championships in college basketball. Dan Hurley did it at UConn just a couple years ago. Mike Krzyzewski, John Wooden at UCLA, and Billy Donovan. Those are the only coaches to ever do that in the history of college basketball. So, that's cool. Will he leave Chicago to come to North Carolina? We'll see. Another name, Tommy Lloyd, who's currently coaching Arizona. I mean, all these names I'm about to read off are huge, big-time names, and you're like, Are you serious? Why would they leave where they're at right now? Well, North Carolina's a big-time school, y'all. Like, big time. Big enough to leave an established program like Arizona, who right now, most people are saying looks like the best team in the tournament right now. We'll see. Another name that kind of hits close to home for me, a lot of people are saying that the head coach of the University of Alabama, Nate Oates, he might leave to go to North Carolina. And that's a possibility, guys. Alabama fans, be thinking about it. That's a strong possibility, guys. Especially with all the junk going on with Aiden Holloway, a bunch of people here in the great state of Alabama are saying it's time for Alabama to move on from Nate Oates, which I think is completely ridiculous. There's no way Alabama should fire him. I think that is absolutely preposterous. I literally go to church with the guy. He's a great dude, and he's also a great basketball coach. I mean, he has made Alabama a basketball school, to be completely honest. The basketball team has consistently performed better than the football team during his tenure. Like, that is not a stretch to say. I don't think there's ever been a time in the history of the University of Alabama since 1831 where we can legitimately say that the basketball team is performing better than the football team. You just can't say that. Another head coaching candidate, the final one I'll mention right here, there were some other names, but these were the most notable, the most frequently thrown out per all the articles I read today, is Dusty May, who's currently coaching the Michigan Wolverines, who will play the Alabama Crimson Tide on Friday. But this guy took Florida Atlantic to the Final Four, and he has currently turned Michigan into, I think they're the best team in the tournament right now, to be completely honest. Everybody's like, oh, Arizona. I think Michigan looks a little better than they do right now. Just TBH. That's to be honest for those of y'all who don't know acronyms like that. Dusty May would be a great hire for UNC, but would he leave Michigan? That's the question we're asking for all these candidates. Would they already leave their current situations to go to UNC? Sure, there's probably a greater opportunity for success, but also you got to deal with some Tar Heel fans who are, I mean, to be said, they're very petty basketball fans. They're like, to use an analogy, they're like Alabama football fans. Nearly impossible to please. So each one of these coaches take a risk in going to UNC. The next team we're going to talk about is probably the biggest Cinderella of the year, Miami, Ohio. And boy, the slipper did not fit, for sure. I mean, they had a great win in the first four against SMU, but they got a terrible draw going up against Tennessee. I mean, one of the best defensive teams in the entire United States of America. And they got punked. I mean, Tennessee it was a beatdown all game. They proved the haters right and proved the believers wrong. Just to be transparent with you guys, I thought Miami, Ohio was going to turn some heads in this tournament, and I kind of forgot how good Tennessee was, to be completely honest. And I put Miami, Ohio in the Sweet 16, so not looking too good for your boy and for all the others who actually believed in the Cinderella story. So, womp womp to all the Red Hawks down in Miami, or up in Miami, because they're in Ohio, only in Ohio, and the rest of the Maction. Sometimes the haters are right, guys. That's a fact of life. You got to understand, guys. Sometimes the haters are right. Sometimes your dreams are just dreams. Disney won't tell you that, but here on the Kizzy Show, we'll tell you the truth. And the truth of life is, sometimes you wake up from your dreams and you realize that, hey, in the real world, the haters are right. Feel free to pause the video and cry. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about some for real Cinderellas who are making some noise right now in the tournament. Starting with the Texas Longhorns. Going from the first four to the Sweet 16, and they did not have a nice, easy, smooth, paved highway to get there. They kind of had to pave their own road against, starting the first four, against the NC State team that's pretty tough, not going to lie. I mean, maybe not crazy good, but had an absolute nail-biter, an absolute cinema game against them. Round of 64, they beat BYU, who's got one of the best players in the country, A.J. Diabansa. BYU's a solid team. They beat them. And then Gonzaga. Oh, boy. Big upset right there. 11 seed taking down 3 seed, going to the Sweet 16. Impressive from the Longhorns right there. I mean, Texas is a team that is peaking at the right time. I mean, will they get further than the Sweet 16? I don't know. That's why we play the games. And what I've learned from this year in March Madness is that I don't know jack about basketball. I can't predict squat diddly. So we'll see about Texas, but they're definitely fun to watch. They're definitely a team that a lot of people are rooting for because everybody loves a good Cinderella story. The next Cinderella we'll talk about is Iowa. Texas and Iowa are the only seeds higher than 9. What's a better way to say this? Big number. They're the only big number seeds to make it to the Sweet 16. Everybody else, you would expect the 1 seeds, the 2 seeds, the 5 seeds, 4 seeds, 3 seeds to make it to the Sweet 16. But not a lot of people have 9 seeds and 11 seeds in the Sweet 16. And you talk about Iowa, they also had a very tough road to get here. Beat a very good Clemson team. Well, Clemson team that hasn't been as good as they have been, but a Clemson team that's still, I mean, they beat some solid teams in the ACC this year. So, big win there, but then round of 32, taking down the defending national champs, the Florida Gators, and an absolute nail-biter against a team that is far more talented than they were, honestly. Iowa plays what I like to call Caucasian basketball. And for those of you, I probably don't need to explain what that means, but Caucasian ball means the other team will probably always be more talented than you are, but you dominate in these 3 things. You dominate in hustle, physicality, and the intangibles, the fundamentals of the game. That is Caucasian basketball at its finest. If you are a predominantly Caucasian team and you are getting out-hustled, out-physicaled, and you're getting whooped in the fundamentals of the game, you will never win anything. But Iowa is showing you how to play Caucasian basketball. You got to out-hustle the other team, you got to be more physical, and you have to dominate in the fundamentals of the game. And they are doing that quite beautifully. And they got some studs on that team too. So Nebraska better watch out. This is a very blue-collar Sweet 16 right here. Big Ten on full display. Oh, that's something we also might need to talk about too. A lot of people say the SEC is the best conference in basketball, but from the looks of this tournament, it's not looking like it. There's a huge Big Ten presence in the Sweet 16, especially that Iowa-Nebraska game right there. But the SEC, man, not a good showing. Not a good showing. But let's talk about an SEC team that's making some noise right now in the tournament. A team that is very near and dear to your hearts if you're watching the show. I assume you know of and you love the Alabama Crimson Tide. Whenever the news broke that star point guard Aiden Holloway had been lighting up the Zaza and selling it to some other homies, and he was no longer going to be with the team, a lot of people began to doubt the Tide, myself included. I had them losing to Texas Tech in the round of 32. Just going to be completely honest with you. I was like, the way Alabama's played all year, they haven't been able to play defense, haven't been able to rebound. They've been so reliant on just outscoring everybody, and now they lose their top scorer. To be honest, they're kind of cooked right now. Especially after the first round, which 90-70, that's a 20-point win. If you watch that game was way closer than 20 points for most of that game. That final score does not tell the whole story. That was a nail-biter. It felt like a nail-biter. Has a 20-point win ever felt like a nail-biter? Because that win against Hofstra did. So I was like, man, that ain't looking too good for the Tide. But then they tipped off against Texas Tech. And oh boy. I mean, we talk a lot on the show. We use the analogy of like taking out to the woodshed. Boy, they took Texas Tech. They got a fast pass to the woodshed. And boy, they took out the paddle and went bang, bang, bang. The only thing read about the Raiders was that hide after getting a crimson tanning from the Tide, buddy. Oh, my goodness. That actually rhymed. Hold up. Write that down, chat. Really shocked everybody here on campus because everybody I talked to said they picked Texas Tech, like me. So I'm glad I wasn't the only doubter. But I saw stuff from Alabama I hadn't seen all year. One, they played defense. Like, they dominated on defense. Like, especially that first half, completely smothered Texas Tech. They got rebounds. Like, so many second chance opportunities for Alabama. Dominated the offensive glass. That's something Nate Oates has been preaching about in every post-game interview that I've watched. He's saying we got to get better on the O glass, got to get more O boards, and they did. Boy, they sure did. And then, in typical Alabama fashion, they rained down the threes. I think it was, 18 threes, 19 threes, something like that? Yeah, that three ball was flying. And, I mean, everybody was getting involved, too. This Alabama team, I will say, is one of the deepest teams left in the tournament. And that depth is what you need to win a championship. Now, how will they do against Michigan? A team with two really good big guys. And Alabama has really struggled against good big men all year. So we'll have to watch that game to find out. And if you want to hear our predictions for the game for the Kizzy Show, you'll have to watch the episode on Friday. What? This postseason, this March Madness tournament has proved what I've believed for my entire life. Men's college basketball has the best postseason out of any sport. I don't think it's even that close. Reason number one, anybody can actually beat anybody. You hear this all the time, like, oh, any given Saturday, any given Sunday, any given whenever, whenever like soccer plays a game or something. Like, nobody watches soccer, sorry. Like any given Tuesday in the NBA. In those sports, not anybody can beat anybody. The college football playoff proves that. Oh, JMU's really got a shot against Oregon. No, they didn't. Tulane, you never know. Anybody can beat anybody. They can say, no. In college football, anybody cannot beat anybody. The Citadel will not come in and beat Alabama. Sure, they could be tied at halftime. Throwback to 2018, those who know. But at the end of the day, that final score is going to be 50-17. In college basketball, anybody can beat anybody. You're playing a one-game series in this tournament, which means that sometimes the better team doesn't always win. Anybody can for real beat anybody. Let's add some evidence to this claim, because all good claims have evidence. Write that down, chat. Number one, High Point. High Point has been the biggest evidence of that in this tournament. Beat Wisconsin, who they had no business beating at all. And then they almost beat the SEC champion, a team that's gone wire to wire with Alabama, beat Vanderbilt, really great team, and Arkansas. A John Calipari coached Arkansas team. High Point almost beat them. Anybody can for real beat anybody. I mean, we have seen that. I mean, every single year, there's always. I throw back to whenever Farley Dickinson beat number one seed Purdue, 16-1, which that's the only time that's ever happened. But it can happen. It's possible. It almost happened again when Siena had that 13-point halftime lead against Duke. I was like, hold up. My bracket's for real about to get busted because I have Duke winning it all, which I don't feel good about at all right now. But I was like, man, they're about to do it. Siena's about to beat them. Now, Duke did go on to win. But anybody can beat anybody. Reason number two, and probably the biggest reason why March Madness is the best postseason, especially the men's March Madness, the absolutely cinematic games. Right here, I have 6 examples, but every game is really cinematic. There's only a few outliers per round that are not just absolute cinema. Insert the meme right there. But starting off, probably the best game of the tournament, Kentucky and Santa Clara. Going to overtime, especially the Otega-Owe shot to get it there. Buddy, incredible. I actually didn't watch this game because I was on a van ride back from Panama City Beach whenever it's happening, but listening to it, it was like, what? I was like, man, I wish I could have watched it. Whatever. Vanderbilt in Nebraska, High Point, Wisconsin, I talked about that. Ohio State and TCU in the first round. Every round has cinematic games. It's not just the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, the Final Four. The round of 32 has great games. Round of 64 does. Even the first four, Texas and NC State, had a great game. And then Florida and Iowa. Whenever David beats Goliath, it's always absolute cinema. Especially the way Iowa did it. Going down the court, and I think they had 2.9 seconds left? Incredible. Incredible stuff. So, watching these games, watching March Madness really puts a smile on my face. And speaking of watching stuff, thank you for watching to the end of a Kizzy Show episode. Another one. This one was just dedicated to the March Madness tournament because, quite frankly, there's so much we missed that we really had to talk about. Tune in next episode when we talk some more about the women's basketball tournament, some Alabama baseball, because unless you are living under a rock, you probably heard that somebody threw 132 no-hitter, the first since 1942. What? And then you will hear Silas and I predict the Alabama versus Michigan game in the Sweet 16. Be sure to check out our other stuff on the channel. I'm trying to think of any other promotions. If you want to hear more from me, JD, check out my stuff at alabamapublicradio.org. APR.org is the actual name of the website if you want to see some stuff I've written. Or you can check out gameday.ua.edu, the official sports website for WVUA-FM, which I'm honored to be on the sports staff. Check that out. You can read some articles I've written about Alabama sports and listen to me and my buddy Devin Hughes discuss all things in the world of college sports every Friday night. We host the Student Section Talk Show from 7 to 8 p.m. Central Time. So be sure to tune in to 90.7 The Capstone or check out the archived episodes on that website, gameday.ua.edu. And as always, God bless. You guys have a great day.